Hello, welcome to this week's Viewpoint. The main stories this week for us have been trailing some of the plans by the Conservative opposition for local government. Actually, what was interesting about this was that they saw local government as very much an important and well-functioning part of governance, and that what they were really looking for was they were trying to devolve some more powers, not massive amount of devolution. I think they're still sticking to things like council tax. There's not going to be any massive reshifting of the balance of funding. But I think the overall feeling was that there's an opposition. Local government was something which is an asset. And I think probably a decade ago, when you had the Labour opposition, similar situation about to come to power, or on the verge of a general election, 97, I think then their attitude to their own local government supporters was much more ambivalent. So I think that's a sign of the changes in local government over the last 10 years. And I think it's a sign of the fact that certainly as a performance issue, local government itself has vastly improved. That's obviously been one of the big stories this week. We've also been doing some coverage of the ongoing Iceland saga. It's a sort of on-off situation at the moment. As we know, the government's been negotiating with the Icelandic authorities about getting some of the money back, both for consumers and also, of course, for the local authorities who've got some millions tied up in it. On one other issue, I've been out myself this week. I was chairing a conference on Thursday, which looked at the whole issue about economic performance. I think one of the major issues coming out is, and it's going to become even very much more important over the next few months in the light of the economic situation, is about local authorities' role in encouraging economic development and dealing with worklessness and tackling the skills issues. And I think they're going to very much have a major role there. I mean, an even more important role. And I think obviously the subnational review is very much part of that. Another event I attended, interesting one, it's actually called Wireless and Digital Cities, which sounds a techie event. Actually, it's not. It's an event really looking at the wiring up of, if you like, of communities to broadband in particular, but also looking at the use of wireless technology so that people can get access to the internet wherever they are, rather than having to be at home or in the office or whatever. It's not actually a techie issue. It raises some quite important issues there because it's to do about skills, it's about encouraging business, economic development. I spoke to one chief executive of a unitary borough, a UK unitary borough, who's looking at trying to bring in a wireless network across the whole borough because they see it very much as a social inclusion issue. But one of the big problems at the moment is that you've got, even though you've got access to broadband, it's still a very comparatively low take-up, something like 20 odd percent. One of the speakers at this event was actually from the EU Commission, and she pointed out that something like 90% access to, most people had 90% of the population had access to broadband. Actually, only about 20% were taking it up, and they saw this as very much a digital divide which had to be filled. So I think it's an interesting area, and certainly with increasing reliance now for businesses on IT and the need for employees themselves to be constantly reskilled on IT, I think that issue about the internet access is going to get bigger and bigger. So certainly watch that space on that one. Finally, interesting news from our own website, localgov.co.uk. We've had a substantial revamp this week, and I do urge you to have a look at it. It's very lively. It's lots of colour, lots of stories coming through, all the content that you had before on the website, but I think you'll find that the homepage is being rebranded and is very lively. Have a look at our awards site, which is on our website. 2009 awards, of course, have been launched, MJ Local Government Achievement Awards. I know that there's plenty of councils out there who've got some superb services, and this is a big opportunity for you to show them off to your colleagues. That's it for this week. Thank you.